But what we love about these guests is like they just take a little break from those topics that they're experts on, and then they share about art and nature. How are you, Sarah? Welcome.
Welcome, Sarah.
Hi, thank you guys so much for your patience. I appreciate you.
Hey,
Of
hey,
course.
you're welcome. What people forget is last week we didn't even push start and it started on its own. But a lot of times with the new we find with the Facebook Live, if we don't go right on within a minute of 9:01, it shuts it off and I have to recode stuff. So
Oh,
And we waiting for you is super worth it, Sierra. I remember the
oh,
first interview and I rewatched it recently, which I encourage the audience. We will post it under these comments and find it either on YouTube or in our Facebook group. You were amazing sharing from your heart, sharing your story about how nature and vitamin D has helped you in your life, and especially with your son's amazing story. So we're glad you're back.
oh,
yeah.
thank you. Thank you. I actually am on one of those kicks where I am recognizing that my body needs more vitamin D again. And so I just switched to half calf this week. So I'm drinking half calf coffee because most people don't know caffeine actually inhibits your body's ability to absorb vitamin D from the sun. And it also inhibits your body's ability to absorb iron, which is crazy. Most women have an iron deficiency, not anemia necessarily, but have an iron deficiency that's affecting them on a regular basis. And they just don't even realize that caffeine is one of the main prohibitors of being able to have that store of iron inside the body. So, yeah,
Wow, that's interesting. And my husband was watching a study, and I tried it, is not wearing your sunglasses all the time.
I don't wear sunglasses at all.
Me neither. Me
I
neither.
do because I have contacts, and
Mhm.
there's like a lot of times a glare. So,
Mm.
but also what I noticed is when I don't wear my sunglasses, my skin gets just more nice and golden. And my granddaughter tried it because she's like, well, I've always burned. And, and I was thinking about it growing up. I didn't wear sunglasses and I was always dark brown. It never burnt. So it's like, oh, maybe there is something with the eye thing. So the
Well,
little
and
I
things.
I
and
support that, Sierra, because I don't wear sunglasses, and I always thought, well, I don't
well,
like them, but
so one of the other things that we noticed is that like if you're staying in a very air conditioned space, your skin has to adapt when it goes outside. So if like you're in an area like I'm at where it's like 90, sometimes it gets up into the hundreds. It hasn't this year. I think we're having a really mild summer. Crossing my fingers, knocking on wood. but but when it's up in the 90s and inside your house, it's like 70. That's a 20-degree difference. And so your body is acclimated to where you're spending the majority of your time. And so if you go outside and you're just instantly in full heat and you're going from 70 to 90 immediately, it's like your body doesn't really have time to acclimate. So I'll notice my skin, even though I don't wear sunglasses, I'm very tan. I specifically go tanning so I don't get burned and stuff like that. I'll notice that when I walk outside and I'm going from really cold to really hot, I'll get like these little water blisters on my skin where my skin is
Mhm.
literally trying to sweat but can't. And
Oh,
so it's like
wow.
my skin, like I get these little tiny water blisters because my skin is kind of sensitive. And so I get those little tiny water blisters on my skin, just like all over everywhere. My kids think it's so weird. They're like, ew, that's gross. And I'm like, it's just
I had never
oh,
heard of that
I've
before.
seen people with that. I've seen people with that, and Sierra, that makes so much sense just to be cognizant of that fact. Like you're in your AC area, and then you step into the heat. I remember in your first interview, you mentioned experiencing chemical depression. And I want to know, and this is Tammy's favorite question. What's your story, right? What's your story? Like, we want to hear, like, from the very beginning when you were a child, or how is it that in your journey you're doing what you're doing right now with your marketing, but also with your realizations about how helpful nature is with healing, the healing process in depression. So, maybe if you want to tell us a little bit of a recount on your story, how you started to that point where you were going through that chemical depression, and how is it going so far?
And
Oh
it's
my
because
goodness,
we don't have
it's
we
a broad
it's
question, I
or
know.
wherever you want to start, we're happy. It's because we've increased quite a bit with followers in this group.
I love
So,
it. I love it. Okay, so for me, I would say that depression is looked on nowadays like it's some kind of, so first off, most people are not depressed. Okay, can we just say that? Because depression is actually a chemical diagnosis. And unless you have been diagnosed by a doctor, you are not depressed. Please don't go to the doctor for depression because you're having a bad day or you're having a bad week. It's like if all of a sudden you lost your job and you're like, I'm so depressed. No, you're just having a bad time. Like it's not depression. Like depression is actually it's a medical diagnosis of something that is chemically wrong in your brain. So if you are just trained to only look for the negative things and you've never been trained to look for the positive, that is not something wrong with your brain. That's just training. That's just habits. It's just patterns.
Programming is
Yeah,
what I would
it's
say.
just programming, and it's just
Mhm.
like your brain is a computer. Your brain is not who you are. Your memories are not who you are. You are a spirit that lives in this body. Your body is like your vehicle on this earth. I explain it to my kids this way. It's like they play these games online and like they'll go into Roblox and they play a character when they're in Roblox. And I was like, so your body is like your character here on this earth, but you are actually spirit. And your spirit is controlling this body. And when you don't control the character kind of goes off on its own and does its own things in some of these games. That's your brain. Your brain is just going to control it. And your brain is built for survival, not for thriving. Okay. So if you leave your brain controlling everything and making all of the decisions for you, well, you're only going to be in survival mode. You're not going to be in thriving mode. It's like in Minecraft when there's the survival versus the creator mode. It's like in survival mode you can die. But it's patterned to keep you surviving. But there's a lot of fight, flight, freeze. There's a lot of terror. There's a lot of fear. There's the possibility for things like depression and all of these really negative experiences. But when you go into creator mode, you're in thriving mode and you can build whatever you want. There's no danger. But most of us don't live in creator mode. Most of us live in that survival mode. And so for depression, for myself, I didn't think I was depressed. I just thought that my life was just crap for some reason. like
And plus,
like
it
I was
was during that circumstance with your son specifically, unless you were also going through it before that, right? Or
no, it was before I ever found out about that.
okay.
So we didn't actually even know we didn't know that my son was going to have any issues in the future at the time. So when I found out, my husband had joined the military. There had been a few things in our life that at that time I thought were really hard. You know, it's like we always think that like the hardest moment in our life is like the hardest thing we'll ever have to work through, and then somehow life like gives us another one, and we're like, oh, like crap, that was worse.
Yeah.
um, so for me at the time, I'd gone through some things and everything was actually starting to grow really well in my life. And our finances were in order. They were in a good place. I had just gotten a certificate in real estate asset management. And I had really high scores on that. My body was in really great shape. I had maintained like it was my best pregnancy ever. I had the baby. I bounced back really fast after number 4. It was amazing. I loved it. Like all of that was really great. My marriage was going well. We had rekindled our relationship after like I think about 8 years into our marriage. We had like a really downturn where I thought our marriage was going to completely fall apart for about a year. And then it didn't. Like we decided to come back together and to work and grow together. It was awesome. So again, everything was going really well, but like I'd run and like find a dark spot where nobody knew where I was and I just cry like 2 times a day. Like I was like, that's normal, you know? And it's like I didn't know why I was crying. I just had like I just felt like I really needed to cry. And so I would go and I'd find myself a spot alone and I would cry. And I got into I started having these, and I still have them, but I started having like these little red dots on my skin, and I started getting more and more, and it just looked like Because I when I would flex, they would really show up. And then if I pressed on it, it would go away for a second and then it would come back. And it looked like I was sweating blood. But it's supposedly normal and it's part of aging, but it popped up for me in my early 30s. I'm like, yeah, 30 is not old. Like
No.
Right.
you
No.
jerk. You know,
Mhm.
Even though at 10 years old, we think everybody at 30 is old, right?
yeah, well, because we were
Perspective.
babies. Because we were babies. But so anyways, he like I wanted to go get my blood checked to see if there was something off or something wrong or whatever. I wanted to just go in and get checked. So I went in, I got checked. While I was sitting there, I was just kind of staring off and the doctor looks at me and he's like, "Are you okay?" And I was like, "Yeah. Why?" I was just sitting there kind of being nonchalant as my kids would say now. And he was just like, "Well, you just look really down." And he's like, "Are you sure you're okay? Like, do you have anything you want to talk about?" And I was like, "I'm good." And I wasn't smiling. Like now I smile more because I know of all the serotonin that it releases when I smile, whether it's real or fake. I don't care. I'm gonna get serotonin either way. Like, let's go. But but back then, like I wasn't smiling, I was just answering him. So he goes off, he comes back in, and as he suspected, my vitamin D levels were super low. And so he got me a vitamin D supplement, which made it to I believe it made it to where I can't remember if I was either backed up or I had like raging diarrhea. I can't remember which one it was, but it was awful. It was like D3 or something like that. And it was just terrible. And I was like, this is awful. I am not taking this supplement. So I went and I did some research. I was a customer of the online store Melaleuca, and they just came out with a K2D. Well, no, okay, it wasn't D3. It must have been D2. So it's a K2D3 supplement that I ended up taking. So it was D2 was the one that the doctor prescribed me, which did nothing. And it was like, I don't know, like 2000 milligrams or some kind of crazy high number. Um, so I got the K2D3 supplement and then I also got cod liver oil and I started taking those together. And like I think the first like when I took those, the very first day that I took those, like I only cried once. I was like, this is cool. The next day, I actually had a couple points where I felt like smiling, which was also really cool. And then by the third day, I didn't cry at all on day number 3. I was like, what? This is so cool. Like life can be like this. And so like that's when it really hit me that I had been struggling with like a chemical depression. And the thing was is that when I was going through chemical depression, I would think about the things that normally would make me excited or happy. Like one of the things that I have that I review on a daily basis is like a memory from my past that puts me in a state of joy or a state of really high gratitude. And back then, or anytime I go through chemical depression, I'll think about those things. Usually, when I'm not in depression, I think about those things and it makes me smile or it gives me like a really good feeling. Or I'll think about like, well, why is this so great? And I'll be able to go into this state where I can actually physically feel the joy or I can physically feel the gratitude. Like it feels very different. And I believe that we all can recognize those good feelings from the not so good feelings. When I'm in a state of chemical depression, I think about those things and it does not change my state at all. So my physical state, which our mental state and our emotions are part of our physical state, I like those won't change in chemical depression. They will stay exactly the same. So even if I think about things that usually make me happy, they won't make me happy. And it's not because those things don't make me happy in life. It's because I just literally can't, I don't have the chemical composition to be happy, which is crazy to think about.
Well,
So
that's
I
a
know it,
beautiful explanation, and people don't understand that. And where some people don't understand, and they say, just think about being happy. Just turn people can turn it on and off, and that's kind of insensitive. And I have been guilty of that. I admit, and it's taken a lot of education to understand that it's real. I didn't understand someone when they were telling me exactly the same thing. No, because your brain doesn't make that chemical that helps with feeling happy. So then what
it's not
the
that the brain doesn't make it, it's that it's being blocked. right? Because the
Mm.
brain still makes it. Like, even like, so with kids, a lot of kids are having actual depression now because they are doing things that are hitting up their dopamine receptors like constantly,
So
just constantly
fast. Hmm.
scrolling or seeing things that are using up all of their dopamine for the entire day in like an hour or two.
Mm.
And so
Wow.
now they don't have any more dopamine rest for the rest of the day because our body only has so much. It's supposed to be gradual over time, and we're supposed to have a more even keel to our day. Instead, they get all of that dopamine, all the serotonin that their body can possibly handle in an hour or two. And then the other side of that comes from like lethargy. Like if our bodies, okay, before I jump over into that, into the like lethargy side, because like obviously I've been working out a little bit since the last time I was here.
You look awesome.
Thank you. I
Yeah.
worked hard
Yes.
for it. It's like I'm 9 months in. I'm 9 months in. I like it
Yay.
shows. I hope it shows. I hope it
It
shows.
definitely shows.
Celebrate.
Yeah, I have a few guys who are like, "Why would you want to look like a man?" And I'm like,
You don't look like a
I'm sorry
man.
you feel insecure about your manhood, but like I feel like I look like a great, beautiful woman. So leave me alone.
I think you
Yay.
look
Locks.
beautiful.
Um, but going back to the chemical depression side, for anyone out there who feels like they might have chemical depression, who feels like they might have low vitamin D levels, instead of taking a supplement, the best thing to do is to get off of caffeine. I think going cold turkey on getting off of caffeine is the stupidest thing in the world. And people are like, no, I'll just do it. And I'm like, okay, fine. But you're going to have several days where you feel so bad, you won't remember anything about those days and you won't be functional for several days. Like, that's fine. If you want to lose several days of your life that you will never be able to get back, totally cool. But you can gradually go off of caffeine, like give your body less and less, and your body is resilient and will adapt to it without the pain. You can get off of caffeine without pain. And so, what I typically do is I go to half calf, which is a significantly, like, it's half the amount of caffeine that's in like a full cup of coffee. So if I've been drinking multiple cups of coffee a day, I'll go down to 1 cup a day for about a week. Then I'll go down to half calf for about a week. And then I'll go to decaf, which still has a little bit of caffeine in it, for about a week. Right. And I gradually taper off the amount of caffeine that I'm having per day. Yes, it takes longer, but I don't have any pain. I'm still functional in the meantime. And I'm not having like rapid onset depression, hating myself and hating my life. My body is able to adapt to how it's supposed to reintegrate or reintroduce those hormones back into my body naturally. And so, that being said, I'll taper off of it, and then at that point I'll start going outside more as well, out into the sunshine, so that my body can absorb more of the sunshine. Now, if you're somebody who's been in air conditioning all day, I would recommend go outside and sit in the shade for like 30 minutes before getting in the sunshine, so that your body has time to adapt to the heat first, so that it feels the heat first, and then you can go get in the sunshine without having the same, like, I get those little, like I said, those little water blisters on my skin, like little tiny ones, just looks like a little zit or something, that's clear. But yeah, I'll
Yes.
just I'll just get them all over my skin everywhere. Like, literally, I'll get them and it's like sparse, so it's like barely there. It looks like I have water droplets sitting on my skin, but it's not. It's under my skin for some reason. I don't know why. Just
Hey,
sensitive
we
skin
all get
things.
those weird things. I get a weird rash if I run anymore. It started when I was 18. If
Hmm.
I'd start, and it was my sweat glands didn't work right. So it's, you just never know. Everybody has different things. But what's interesting is I know if I don't take certain vitamins, I am like so sick. Um, and how many people have to take vitamin D, especially those with like MS, have to take they found that when they did studies, their vitamin levels were low. I found that I had to take extra because I do take my D and stuff. But vitamin B, I had to increase. I was like so dizzy. What do you call it? Vertigo was
Yeah,
really bad.
I used to get that. I passed out once when I was in fourth grade, and then again when I was like 15.
And usually it's
Um,
because of vitamin B is low.
so yeah, there were several things. So the when it comes to vitamin B, I've actually been taking a supplement that my mother-in-law told me about. I started taking it because I wanted my hair to grow thicker and longer. It did not work for my hair, but it did help all these other things to where my periods got regular for the first time in my life, and I was like, that's cool. It's predictable. I know when it's going to happen. Like that's nice. And then my acne cleared up. I used to have really bad acne when I was a teenager. Not like as bad as some people where it's like all over their face, but I did have like I just always had acne. And I was really embarrassed by it. And when I started taking brewer's yeast, all of my acne cleared up. And so and it's still weird like to this day I have to take brewer's yeast every single day or my acne comes back. Um, but I there's that gene mutation that a lot of people have. I call it like with a curse word. I won't say the curse word, but it's like the mother effer gene mutation because it's the MTHFR gene mutation. They say that about 40% of the population has it. I think it's higher than that because most people haven't been tested. I haven't been tested, but I'm pretty sure I have it because with that gene mutation, you can't absorb vitamin B. That's the synthetic version, the laboratory made vitamin B. You can't absorb it, and so like all of the like fortified flour or cereals or whatever that have those vitamin B, it's all the synthetic vitamin B. And if you have that gene mutation, it doesn't do you any good. And so it's like if you ever took a vitamin B supplement and then you peed later and your pee was like neon yellow, that's all the vitamin B going through your blood. Like because your pee doesn't actually come from your digestive system, it comes from your blood. So that vitamin B processed into your blood and then went right out the other end like super fast because your body couldn't do anything with it. And so you're just giving your body all this extra waste, which is actually really bad for you to like have extra things that your kidneys and liver have to process. So that being said, I've been taking brewer's yeast, which is a natural form of vitamin B. The reason why I do that over taking a supplement is because I was taking supplements years ago and I was studying nutrition and all of that. Just on a side, I just studied nutrition for fun for like 10 years. Normal people stuff. Normal people
Hey, it's
stuff.
awesome. I read labels, study it. I always have. So,
So I was taking an iron supplement at the time because I was pregnant with my first baby and I was taking vitamin E. And I just had all of these like vitamins, like handful of vitamins that I would take every single day. And when I was taking those, I actually read a few studies that talked about how your body cannot absorb an iron supplement and vitamin E at the same time, that they actually cancel each other out. So you don't get the benefit of either when you take them together. And I was like, that's stupid. And then I was reading something else later about spinach, and spinach actually has iron and vitamin E in it naturally, and you absorb both of them when you eat spinach. And I was like, that's crazy. So, like, eating the food that was designed for us to eat is
Food is
better than to eat the
medicine.
vitamin. And
Food is
so,
medicine.
yes, food is medicine. So I try to get natural supplements as much as possible. And brewer's yeast is the it's called brewer's yeast because it's made from when they would brew the yeast and whatever was left over that would be killed. They used to give that, and I think they still do. They give it as supplements to livestock because it's so rich in vitamins. Because it's like the leftover hops and stuff like that, and all of that. It's like all of those vitamins go are just left over at the end, and they don't have that in the beer. Like they strain all that out, and so that killed yeast. So there's no active yeast in it. It's killed yeast, but it's got all of this like rich nutrition. It's got so much protein. It's actually got iron in it, and so I've been taking that for. Uh, I have to do numbers like 21 years now,
Is it the same
and
as nutritional yeast?
it's not. It's
Hmm,
not.
okay.
It's got a different vitamin count. I tried doing nutritional yeast a few years after because it's a less bitter taste.
Hmm.
The vitamin count is not the same and it didn't have the same effect on my body. And I was just like, cool, I'm going back to the nasty stuff. So brewer's yeast, it doesn't taste great. I don't recommend baking it into stuff because you get barely anything. I literally take 3 heaping tablespoons of it and I'll mix it into either cranberry juice. I used to do 100% cranberry juice, like just like a little, like half a cup of that. Or I would do like now I do coconut water because I need to drink coconut water every day because my body just doesn't absorb water in the same way that most people do. I need all the extra electrolytes. And when I drink coconut water, my skin doesn't dry out, my lips don't get as chapped. So I do about 8 ounces of coconut water, 3 tablespoons of brewer's yeast, and then now I do 2 scoops of my protein powder because that's how I have to start my day. I have to have all this extra protein so I can build my muscles. But but the brewer's yeast, I do 3 heaping tablespoons of that every day. It's a very bitter taste. It does not taste great. So if somebody is very big on not liking flavors, I recommend cranberry juice. I do not recommend any other juice because all of the other juices do not taste as good with it. But but I just drink it like a shot. Like I'm a college student drinking beer, except instead I'm
Yeah.
actually like helping my body. But that one has like I think it has 7 or 8 different B vitamins in it. Like I'd have to go back and look, but it has like multiple B vitamins in it naturally occurring, so your body will actually absorb them. And it's got a bunch of the trace minerals and um, I can't remember all of the like amino acids that make up the protein chains, but I know it has leucine and lysine and a bunch of other amino acids that make up the protein chains. And so it's actually got a full protein in there. I don't remember which one, but like which one, like how much, but it does have a full protein and it has iron in it. And so I take that every single day. And it's just like, it's been a super huge blessing on my life. And all my kids have grown up taking it now too, because I'm like, I'm like, you don't have to struggle like I did. And then when they get older, they're like, this tastes nasty. I don't want to take it anymore. And then they have acne, and I'm like, hey, you know what? Do whatever you want in life. Like
So
I love
it's
you. I gave you the answer, and now you get to decide what you want.
right. I believe we say a lot, my husband and I, we teach them good principles and they govern themselves. It's like, hey, I've given you a lot of resources and stories and solutions, but then you choose. So, Sierra, thanks for sharing your journey, like health journey. I'm sure the audience here in our group will take notes of these things that ha work for you. And I know that we're each individuals. I know people are so conditioned to their coffee and it's so hard to give it up or whatever. It's just habits. Um,
I'm
I
having my coffee, but it's diluted, like more like what Sierra said, it's half and half because it's like, or yeah, I have tea, but and that's because, like you said, like what I found out with having migraines and different things is if you have too much caffeine, so then you have no effects. And the medicines that give for migraines is usually is high caffeine for
right.
opening up, muscles and different things.
So that's why
And
you have to find
you have to
your
find it because
spot.
everybody has different body types.
Mhm.
We all have different chemical balances. It's kind of like I was at a meeting last night, and the psychiatrist and the psychologist were saying that so many kids are mixed diagnosed, and people are misdiagnosed. They go to a regular doctor, and automatically they want to just write them a prescription for ADHD or something when it could simply just be, like you said, Sarah, a vitamin deficiency,
Mm-hmm.
you know?
Or red dye number 40.
Mm,
Um,
yes.
we one of our kids was like super reactive to I can't remember if it was red dye 40 or if it was one of the blue dyes. I just remember like we had to when he was a baby, we had to stop giving him that because the moment he would have that, he could have other sugar and we didn't do sugar very often. We don't. But like he would have some other kind of candy and he would, get a little bit of extra boost of energy like a kid should, but he would have that and he would become a terror. It was crazy. I'd never seen that kind of a reaction before. And so, everybody's body is a little bit different on what we can handle. It's like our genetic makeup, it's how our body is able to be resilient. Like, obviously, somebody who's albino is not going to go sit out in the sun and tan all day. You know, it's like that's just not going to
So
happen.
it's isn't it awesome that a lot of the products I've seen like I think was it Hershey's and Pepsi, a lot of these companies are, and even General Mills is going to be taking out all those artificial and the bad dyes and stuff.
You know what I found out recently is that a lot of the ingredients that they have in the UK are actually very similar to what we have in the US. It's just they have different names for them. Like they put different names on it. Kind of like how oh, what did we just see? We just got some chips from the store because I was just so excited. It was colored with beet juice
Yeah.
and it was
Mhm.
Tostitos, which is like one of the main chip brands. And they
Right.
had these like they had blue corn chips, they had the regular white corn chips, and then they had red chips and they were colored with beet juice. And I was like, that's so cool.
Yeah.
I was like, I've
Yeah.
never seen that. Now,
Yeah.
granted, they still have like the oils and some of the other ingredients that aren't necessarily the healthiest, but it was
But
just
that's a
really cool
step
to
to
see.
applaud.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a
Well,
step ahead.
it's amazing, like you said, we're mentioning there, Sarah. I've gone to health food stores, and or people think certain stores, I won't mention names, are everything you buy there's healthy. It's like, no, it's not. If you can't pronounce that an ingredient, most likely it's something you shouldn't be eating. And the less ingredients is better. But, or like when we were in Canada, I was just shocked. I was like, their ingredients on these labels, they're worse than the other stuff, in the US. So they were,
Really? That's
yeah,
crazy.
I was thinking it'd be more kind of like you said, like UK or someplace else, like healthy. And it was like, oh my gosh, this is the bad stuff that the US sells.
That's crazy. Yeah. I was gonna say too, I really did want to mention this earlier, that when I started, so I've also I know you mentioned about how your body reacts to things. When I started working out, I had like a really significant change in how my body can like process poisons. And I say that specifically because I used to in the past, I would joke with my husband. I'd be like, I'm a cheap date. I'm a lightweight because like we would go out, he would get me a drink, and then I would be done. I would get so tipsy off of like just drinking like a few sips of my drink. Like alcohol was like really poisonous to my body. And so I couldn't really like it wouldn't take much to get me blackout drunk. I've only ever been blackout drunk twice in my life. Hated it so much. I was like never again. and 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 the thing was is like my body reacted so strongly to that. And since I've been working out and building more muscle mass on my body, and I think that this is one of the things that people don't think about. It's like I was mentioning about scrolling on phones. Well, it's not even necessarily just that. It's like our body can adapt to how much it can process throughout the day. So it can process more dopamine, process more serotonin, process more of those feel good hormones, and process more vitamin D from the sun when we have more muscle mass. And so most people aren't really building muscle. And as I've built this muscle mass, I still don't drink very much, but when I have, I've been able to have like two drinks with no ill effects on my body. Like I barely even get buzzed, if that, with two drinks in my body, which is crazy for me because my entire life, my entire adult life, let's say, my entire adult life, like I haven't been able to drink without feeling really horrible. So, like most alcohols, I would go straight to instant hangover. And so just being able to have like two drinks and not even feel really tipsy was kind of crazy for me. I was like, wow, my body has a greater ability to process toxins. My body now has a greater ability to like have more of the happy hormones. Like it is so I just wanted to put that out there that it's like if you didn't have a reason to go out and go hiking, if you didn't have a reason to go out and go for a walk, like well now you do, because it's like you set yourself up for success even with just like a 15 or 20-minute walk a day. Like you're setting your body up to be able to produce more of the hormones that make you feel good and to process out more of the toxins. It's like people will just sit inside all day. We have all these desk jobs now where people are stuck inside all day and they're wondering why they feel bad and they're wondering why their body can't handle stuff and they're like, "Well, I'm just broken." No, just get up and move. Like go outside, go for a walk, like be in nature. Go take off
Oh,
your
yeah.
shoes and stand in the grass. For me, like with animals and stuff like that, like I recognized recently that I've always loved animals. My kids are not exactly the same way. And I thought that that was just that everybody loves animals and no, not necessarily if they didn't grow up around it, but like but yeah, for me, going outside and being in in the elements and just being able to have that view from the window too, being able to feel connected, being able to see the sunset and the sunrise, which are as different as a thumbprint every single day.
Oh
Like
yeah.
those things are just, they're moments that are like created just for you because nobody ever sees it exactly the way that you see it. Their perspective is going to be shifted. Their perspective is going to be different. So it's like all of those things are created just for your pleasure.
I
So,
know it's pretty good. I get pretty spoiled. I sent Lori a picture. I should share it, but it's like I had just finished. I was like, it was really hot out the other day, and I'm like, I'm gonna have some ice cream. So I ate a scoop of ice cream, and I set the bowl down, and a chipmunk got in the bowl. I was licking it, and I'm like going,
I
what,
had a
you know, and it was there.
bird.
It was chocolate ice cream, and then I'm like going, oh, can chipmunks have chocolate? You know, and they're not supposed to, but you know, and it was just, you know, I could have, I didn't lick my bowl clean, but the chipmunk was licking it clean.
I had a
Uh,
bird, a baby bird. Spring came late for us this year. It was like May and June when all the babies were born this year. But I had a baby bird land on my head like a few weeks ago.
Mm.
But it's like somebody was like, "Oh, it's your Disney princess moment," and I'm like, I'm pretty sure Disney princesses don't go, "Oh crap," or "Oh God," It's like I did that, and I went like this because I didn't know what it was. I just felt the little talons on my head, but
Oh,
like I was
wow.
talking to two other people, and they literally watched the bird like come and land on my head, and it was just gonna like sit there and like roost and make a little nest or a home or something. It
it
was just
was
like
getting
ready.
brave to fly further.
Yeah, and then when I cowered and fell forward, then it like jumped and like flew off to the other side of the yard. But I was just like, why? Like so
That is so
random.
sweet. There might be a meaning to that, a spiritual meaning to that. I am
Might
curious,
be.
Sierra. You said congratulations on your 9 month into your healing journey or physical fitness journey. What got you into that? Like, where was the moment, if you remember, like, okay, this is it. This is what I'm gonna do. It wasn't 9 months ago, wasn't January, so it was not a New Year's resolution. It was a new you resolution at some point last year. So you want to tell us a little bit about that?
So I was stepping into I'd not had any mentors for at least a year. I had not paid for any mentorships because I just really needed to prove to myself that I could do it without mentors because I had this belief in my head that I wouldn't be able to do it on my own. And I had already invested at that point like $150,000 into mentorships and they didn't all work. And I thought that that was the only way I could grow and scale. And it's like, oh, well, you just chose the wrong mentor this time. Like, oh, you didn't get results, you just chose the wrong mentor. And so I wanted to prove that I could still continue in business without that. And so I had taken a hiatus. I had just hired a mindset coach, and I was stepping into this new level of self and increasing my finances, and it was just like, why would you deny yourself pleasure was one of the questions that came up for me because I was constantly denying myself of the things I really wanted in life. Um, and I recognized like how I'd patterned myself to think like that there's not going to be enough. So I need to hold on to it and not get these things that I really wanted. I think the thing that happened for me at that time was I had a favorite shirt and my husband accidentally washed my favorite shirt. I was like, "Ooh, I need to go get a second one." And I was just thinking I need to go get a second one because like when this one starts to wear down, I want to have the second one because this is my favorite shirt. So I was thinking that, and then we got back from a trip, and my husband washed my favorite shirt with something that was bright red and something that was navy blue or royal blue. And both of those were brand new items and bled onto the shirt and turned it purple. It was this color, this beautiful light blue color that's like my favorite blue, and they both bled onto it and made it like this like periwinkle purple like from like the Beauty and the Beast movie when he's like, pass the gray stuff, it's delicious, don't believe me, ask the dishes, like that color purple. And I was like, oh no, and I was crying and I was like, okay, well let me go buy this shirt, and they didn't have any at the store. And so we stopped at another store. They didn't have any there either. We stopped at another store. They didn't have any there either. And we went around to I even called and they had a couple at other stores. And I was prepared to buy something from Texas, have my family drive an hour or two to go pick it up because I was like, I'm not going to not get the shirt. And while I was there, I ended up buying like five other things that I was just like, you know what, I want these things, so I'm just going to get them, because why would I deny myself the things that I want? And they ended up having more in stock online. Like a few days later, I woke up and I was going to buy from one of the stores out of state and have my family go pick it up. They ended up having more in stock online. I was so excited about that, and I was able to buy them at a discount, no less. They went on sale that day too, which was
Awesome.
super cool. So I had favor. But it was just one of those moments where I was like, why am I denying myself the things that I really, really want in life? And then I started taking those steps in my business, and my business was starting to increase. My other parts of my life were starting to increase. And every time I looked in the mirror, I was like, I didn't feel like my body aligned with all of the growth that I'd had. And I didn't feel like my body looked like the way that I really felt inside. And so for me, that was when it started, is I just wanted my body to reflect on the outside all the growth that I had on the inside. And so I was just making massive strides in my personal growth, and I wanted my body to reflect that too.
Well, it definitely reflects that, but I totally get it. It's like I finally got, and I don't remember when it started, but it's like I got to the stage to where I only buy stuff I like because, and we did that with our home and stuff for like our even our furniture. It's like I don't want to just buy something just so it's there, or so you have it. So it's like, no, if I have to save or work harder, I'll do that to get what I want. You know, I don't want just that temporary fix. And then it's kind of like you, it's like how many times I've bought in sweatshirts or pants, it's like you love them. It's like, oh my gosh, I need an extra. So when I find something I really like, I order a second one just so I have a
Yeah,
backup.
same, same. And like maybe it looks like I'm wearing the same outfit every day. I don't care. I love it.
No, it's comfortable, right?
Comfortable. I look good. Like those are actually the two things that I do for all of my clothes. Is it comfortable? Do I look good? If it's not
Yes.
comfortable, I don't want it. Like I'm at an age where I can do whatever I want. So why would I not wear something comfortable? It's like that's silly. And then the second part, like, does it look good? If it doesn't look good, I'm not gonna get it. And if I think I went through a Marie Kondo stage in my life where I was just like, um, do I love everything in my wardrobe? And if there's
Does it
anything in my
spark
wardrobe,
joy?
if there's anything in my, well, actually asked myself, not does it spark joy, but is it my favorite? Like, what if my
Mhm.
entire wardrobe was all favorites? What if everything I owned was my favorite?
That's
Like,
awesome.
why not? Why not? Why
Yeah.
do we have to have things that are just okay, that are like, well, I don't want to wear my favorite thing every day because I don't want something. Well, what if like everything was your favorite?
Well,
Why
and you
not?
never know when's your last day, so you should wear your favorite thing every day. I never save anything for a special occasion. It's like people come over, they're like, "You're using your crystal." I was like, to me, it's just a plate. It's pretty. We're gonna use it. They're not made to just sit there. If it's gonna just sit there and I'm never gonna use it, might as well donate it. Because I've always believed in using everything. So.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sarah,
And
I love everything you've shared, and time goes by so fast when we're having fun and when we're having great, insightful conversations. I have one question, almost to kind of wrap it up. There's a lot that you've shared today about this healing journey and your physical activity. I love that you wanted to have that congruency with what was happening in your mind, finances, business. Also, you wanted to manifest it in your physical with your physical body. I love that. So how do you balance that intentional desire with physical care, um, with the chaos of unpredictability of the real life? What could you tell our audience? What would you like them to walk away with, that all this is possible when you set your mind to it?
so for me, in every area of life, one of the biggest lessons I learned from my health journey this last year is that I really understand the tortoise and the hare metaphor in a very different way. Like I've known that story since I was a kid. I've used that story and thinking that I really understood it, but I didn't understand it until I was going to the gym every day and I was not seeing weight loss in the way that I wanted to, or I was not seeing progress in my body in the way that I wanted to. And it was really defeating. Like we go through these bulk phases where we're building muscle, and then we go through these cut phases where we're actually looking lean and toned. And when we go through the bulk phase, we think that, oh, I just got like all this muscle. So like my muscles are bigger right now. And I'm like, yay, I just built like a booty for myself or something like that, which is important to me. Um, but like I went through that bulk phase and then I started going into the cut phase and I lost a lot of it. And then my clothes started fitting different. And I've had like a little bit of like dysmorphia from that where I'm like, not liking my body as much at different times, even though I'm in the best shape of my life right now. And it's because like I built a little bit of muscle and then when you go through the cut phase, you lose a little bit of the bulk, but you keep about 15% of it, right? And so it's like you'll keep a little bit. And so it's like steps forward, but they're baby steps. And so it's like trusting the process of consistency, of consistently showing up. People think that consistency means like every single day for 30 days, but I go to the gym like 3 or 4 times a week, and that's not every single day. And it's like we're not supposed to be doing it necessarily every single day, but it's like when you think of consistency, think about brushing your teeth. Like if you skip a day, do you just not brush your teeth anymore? No, you go start brushing your teeth again the next day. It's like the consistencies, the things, the small things that make the results inevitable. People are looking at the milestone markers like they're finish lines, and they're just supposed to be milestone markers. Like you set this really big target or this result or this goal for yourself and you're looking at it like it's a finish line, but it's just a milestone marker. So if you do the consistent daily activities that make those milestone markers inevitable, like if you're taking a step, if you're running a marathon and you're taking a step forward and you just keep taking steps forward, you're going to hit the milestone marker, right? So
Right.
finding the consistencies that make those milestone markers inevitable, looking at your goals like milestone markers and not finish lines, because if you're looking at it like a finish line, you're like, oh, well, I already hit 10K if that's your goal or 100K this like in the first 2 weeks of the month, so let's move the milestone marker. And as entrepreneurs, like we have a tendency to keep moving the milestone marker, but it's like a milestone marker doesn't move. Targets or finish lines move. Targets or finish lines can be different. And so we'll move it like it's a finish line, but it's actually a milestone marker. So allow yourself to hit those and celebrate those, and then look for the next milestone marker. Instead of moving the finish line and saying, well, we already hit 10K, so let's, like, the goal is now 20K for the month. Okay. And we're thinking of that as our end state. And it's like, if we don't hit that, we feel very disappointed. And it's like, but you just hit a 10K and you'd never hit that before. That's amazing. And it's like we don't even allow ourselves the opportunity to celebrate. So again, it's number one is to find the consistent daily actions that make the milestone markers inevitable. Number two is to view it as a milestone marker and to celebrate every milestone, small or big. Find your milestones and celebrate every milestone along the way, because you need to celebrate what you want more of. And so if you're not celebrating the little wins, the likelihood that you're going to have more of that in the future is going to be very slim. And so don't make goals and targets finish lines, make them milestones and celebrate them.
Thank you. That's
I
amazing.
love it. So,
And
and I think a lot, I was just going to mention this real quick. Back to your fitting the body and stuff. I think people, a lot of times, especially women, don't realize that when you are losing weight or you're lifting and stuff, your clothes will fit differently, And there's a time, like you said, it's like you're like, oh, awesome, I'm losing weight, I'm looking great. And then, like a day or 2 days later, you're like, oh my God, you look in the mirror and you're like, your body just looks like you said, doesn't look the best, right? You're like, what happened? I thought it was losing weight or cutting, and but then it just give it time and it comes back around. So,
well, when you
so
mentioned the tortoise and the hare, I just thought of the little uh, tagline at the end. What's the lesson, or what is the I forgot the word right now. The moral. The moral of the story is slow and steady. Slow and steady is what helped the tortoise win the race. And whether it's the race of life, the race of wherever you want to get, I love how you said that instead of using them. You say it better, Sierra.
Well, and we can
Using them as
tie
a
it,
mask.
we can bring this whole thing back around to the very beginning when we started talking about caffeine, how you get the caffeine high, and then it's like if this is
Yeah,
even, you get the caffeine high, and then you get the caffeine low, like
yeah,
really, really low. So the higher you go, the faster, the lower you go.
yeah.
And
The
so,
deep,
and same thing with sugar and whatnot, and same thing with like if you're running a short sprint, you go this short sprint and then you have dips because you
Right.
can only sprint for so you can't sprint forever. So you
right.
can only sprint for so long before you need a rest. You can only run your fastest at the highest level possible for so long before you need a rest. And so it's like slow and steady.
Hmm.
Like
Yeah,
you can walk ridiculously longer than you can sprint.
yes. Love it, love it. And it's a very good way to end. We love having you, Sierra. Again, I mean, if our audience take away from this that slow and steady is what makes us continue forward without getting disappointed, without thinking like, oh, we made it to here, we're done, or then we're gonna feel super low if things don't work out again the way we want it. I love how you also said to celebrate those wins, celebrate those things, because you've worked hard for it. So I know you're celebrating. You're just showing us how
Yeah.
you have built
If
those
you
muscles.
if you have nothing to celebrate today, think about the things in your life that you love that you would
Mm,
like to continue in the future and celebrate
yes.
that. Always celebrate what you want to see more of.
I
Yep.
love it. So, and if you can all know, Sarah shared so many golden nuggets that can be used in everyday life. And Sarah's an awesome coach as well. So, do you want to tell a little bit before we leave what you do? Just so, and then we encourage you, everybody, to go and watch your first video where you talk about your son with his brain tumors and stuff. So, and we'll be sharing that here as well. So,
Yeah, the last thing, if you guys want to find me, you can find me on any social media platform as Cierra Lueck. I am the only one. Cierra, last name is Lueck. You can find me anywhere. I also have my website, sierralueck.com. Feel free to reach out. Send me a message. Don't just send me a request like for follow or friendship. Send me an actual message so that I know it's you because my friends list is maxed and I have to make room for you. But that being said, what I do is community engagement strategy. That's where I started. And my goal is to help people grow, engage, and monetize their communities in a way that has such deep connection that people love it so much they never want to leave. They actually enjoy being sold to. And then they love bringing in people just like them. And I've done social media consulting I've had at least 3 clients that are in Inc. 500. I've worked with 7, 8-figure companies. And then I've also helped more than 350 private clients to grow their high ticket offers on social media. And so, yeah, in a nutshell, that's what I do.
Wonderful. She's very energetic. I love See the Neon. That's because she is so she shines bright. And thank you so much for being here, for sharing your journey. And I want to say what Tammy always says. Let's have you come back again.
oh
And,
yeah,
mhm.
I love having Sarah on here. So thank you so much, Sierra. I appreciate it. And we appreciate each and every one of you that's watching now, or if you're watching later, because we know a lot of you have to work. So thank you. Be sure to check out our website, unlockingfreedominnature.com, as we do have different retreats and adventures coming up. So and we do have different articles that you're welcome to read. And if you know somebody that you think would be a great guest to be on our show, send us a message and we'll send them an application. So
And
thank
if
you.
you
And we
know of
look forward.
someone that could benefit from the content,
Yeah, and we have
share our
another
video.
great guest next week. So thank you so much for being here today. Have a great week. Thank you, Sierra.
Bye-bye.